Greetings and salutations. My name is OJ, as always, assuming I haven't forgotten my memories from being in the entities realm for too long, and today we're going to start what I'm calling the DBDathon. A terrible name, I'm very much aware, but what can you do? In this DBDathon, I will be making a dedicated video to every single killer from Dead by Daylight, from the Trapper all the way up to Springtrap, who just recently released. In these videos, I'll be doing a shortened breakdown of their lore. I will be talking about their gameplay, their perks, some general criticisms on how I feel about the character, as well as talking about my favourite and least favourite cosmetics for each of the killers. For point of reference, I have been playing Dead by Daylight ever since it came out on Xbox One, back with I think it was called the Special Edition. So I've been around for quite a while, and I've had very much an on and off thing with the game. Like, even just recently, I hadn't started playing until, we got the first look at Springtrap, and I was like, ooh, Five Nights at Freddy's. I love Five Nights at Freddy's. But yeah, so as the title and the thumbnail has probably already told you, this video is going to be about Evan McMillan, also known as the Trapper. Oh, and also, this is my gameplay in the background. Please go easy on me. This was my first ever game on PC. I've got two clips in this video. The first one is my first ever game on PC. I just recently bought the game on PC for like £6 because it makes it easier to record using like OBS and the such. But yeah, this first game, not great. Second one was much better, so please do bear with me. But with that said, let's talk about the Trapper's bio, where it states that Evan McMillan idolized his father. It wasn't just that he was an heir to a great fortune, it was the way he ran the estate. Raised under his firm hand, Evan had taken to running the workforce with an iron fist. Production was always high, and the McMillan estate prospered under father and son. And then his dad's mental health degenerated. Evan protected him from the workers who were rebelling, per se, and then Evan became the enforcer to his father and took place in the worst mass murder in modern history. He apparently, they could never prove it, quote unquote, that he led over 100 men into dark tunnels before detonating explosives and sealing them to their fate. And as the bio quite simply puts it, the tale of the McMillan estate is a tale of wealth and power gone very wrong. Now, I must admit, I've never read his what were they called? Tome entries. So I don't know much more about his lore besides that, but then again, if you're looking for lore, I'd suggest you go elsewhere. No offense, that's not my forte. I enjoy it. I enjoy reading the lore, but I'm not very good at explaining it or summarizing it per se. But with his lore relatively explained, simply explained, let's put it at that, let's move on to his gameplay, starting with his power, that being bear traps. Shocker, a guy called the Trapper uses bear traps. His bear traps kind of suck. I'm gonna be completely real with you. I think, although he's meant to be like the starting killer, right? The first killer anybody plays as. He sucks as a starting killer, I think, in my personal opinion. His bear traps are weirdly complex. Well, not complex. They require a lot of game knowledge to use correctly. If anything, I think the Wraith is about as good a basic killer. Like, if anyone were to join this game, I'd say go play Wraith first, because I think he does a way better job at being the starting killer. The Trapper starts with 2 bear traps, and the rest of them are scattered around the environment. He can only hold 2 at a time, ignoring add-ons, and he can place them down. Once they're placed, they are there. They can be disarmed by survivors, but if a survivor steps in it, they're caught, they're stuck, and if they manage to free themselves, they'll be injured. Otherwise, you get a free kill. Well, a free hug, you know what I meant. I genuinely think he needs his power, he needs so many quality of life changes. Just either have all of the traps on the map that are just spread around open, just have them open automatically, or let him have all his traps. I don't see what is the issue with letting him have all of his traps. No other killer, in my mind, to my knowledge, has to actively go get their power. No one else has to deal with that. Everyone else kind of just has their power. Even if it's on an ammo count, they still have their power. Huntress, she has 5 hatchets at the start of the match, right? She only has to go get more when she's out of them, but she still starts the match with them. Trapper starts with 2 traps, and that's all he can carry. Like, come on, man. Could the entity not just give him like, give him a bigger bag or something? Like, let him carry them. I don't see why he can't. Besides that, he is a 4.6 meters per second speed. He has a 32 meter terror radius, and he is considered a tall killer. By all accounts, he's very basic, but I know there are people out there who do some very, very creative things with him. I'm sure you can see from the background gameplay, I am not one of those people. Moving on forward, let's talk about his teachable perks, those being agitation, which description reads as such. You get excited in the anticipation of hooking your prey. While transporting a body, your terror radius is increased by 12 meters, and you have a 6, 12, or 18% haste, depending on the killer or the perk's level. Haste increases the killer's move speed, and its flavor text reads, "At some point, the excitement of hooking one of us becomes more important than the desire to kill us." I think this perk is very niche. It's fun. It's very fun if you combined it with like Mad Grit and stuff and Starstruck. But besides that, I do think this is a very niche perk. Not bad though for a beginning killer, because it would help with new players picking up survivors and getting them 2 hooks in time without having to deal with them like swaying the camera side to side and wiggling. His second perk is Brutal Strength. Your great strength allows you to shred through your prey's defenses. Destroy dropped pallets, breakable walls, and generators 10, 15, or 20% faster, again depending on the perk level. With its flavor text reading, it's more than muscles. A dark power motivates this beast. Or, no, the beast. Again, this is a really solid beginner perk and can find its fun niches in specific builds. I'm actually running it in the clip in the background for the, as I called it, the pallet muncher build, because obviously you get hit with pallet and then you break it quicker. It's a good perk, again, really good for newer players, etc. And finally, you have Unnerving Presence. Your presence alone instills great fear. Survivors within your terror radius have a 10% greater chance of triggering skill checks when repairing or healing. Triggered skill checks success zones, that's a mouthful, are reduced by 40, 50 and 60%, or 60%. With the flavor text reading, its presence befalls us. Now, this perk is even more niche than agitation. This is genuinely only useful on a single killer on a specific build. I have never used the Unnerving Presence outside of the Doctor builds where you make the skill checks really, really hard. And as a result, I don't really think this perk is very good on a beginning killer like him, because it's so niche and only useful on one other killer. Like, I'm throw my hands up, I'm sure there's a build out there that makes this perk really solid, but I am yet to find it. But with that said, we can move on to his design, which I'm going to give him huge credit for, is damn near fantastic. Simple, but very, very effective. He clearly takes a lot of inspiration from Jason Voorhees, who, by the way, where the hell is he? How is this game a Hall of Fame for famous slasher? I know this is a Hall of Fame for famous slashers, right? Or horror films in general. Jason Voorhees not being here, still to this day, annoys me to no end. I know it's because of the lawsuit, and I know it's because of the legal issues around him. But come on, man, I need him in this game so bad. But ignoring that, Trapper clearly takes a lot of inspiration from Jason Voorhees. Just in general, the way he's built, the mask, the fact that his weapon is akin to a machete, it's all very Jason inspired. And even despite that fact, Trapper, I believe, stands on his own, mostly due to the fact that his mask is very, almost like it's made of bone, which adds a layer of creepiness to him. And I think the fact that his body is covered in all of these scars, hooks, entity claw marks, I think that's some great visual storytelling. It tells us that he has, at some point, tried to rebel against the entity. At least that's what I'm inferring from it. And the idea of a killer like resisting the entity actively and being punished for it and having scars and marks to show that punishment is really cool. Like, that's awesome. And I think Trapper deserves his sort of iconic status per se. I'd say he's iconic. I can recognize his design from a silhouette, and as they say, a good design is one you can recognize from a silhouette. Now, on the topic of designs and looks, etc., as I said earlier, let's talk about his cosmetics a little. I think Trapper's cosmetic lineup is pretty decent, all things considered, but I'm going to talk about my least favourite and my favourite, as well as paying lip service to a couple others. My least favourite, by far, is the Delinquent skin. Oh, by the way, when it comes to rating what is my favourites and least favourites, for least favourites, I have restricted myself to specifically picking an ultra rare skin or above. Or is it very rare? I don't remember the exact terms. The purple rarity skins. Because if I just said, oh, I can pick any skin as my least favourite, I'd pick one of the terrible yellow recolors, right? But of his ultra rares, the Delinquent skin sucks. I do not like it whatsoever. Not only does the mask look a bit weird, it just kind of looks bad. Like the mask looks cheap. It doesn't look good, in my opinion. I don't like that the overalls that he's wearing are very similar to his base design overalls. And I also think his weapon in this skin is quite boring. It's literally just a silver shard of metal attached to something. I don't know specifics, but I think the Delinquent skin is probably his worst. One redeeming factor is probably the burn marks on his left side of his body, as well as the wires and nails, nails stuck in him. Those are kind of cool, but the mask plus the fact the outfit is very similar to his base design, except with a big blue X on it. Yeah, no, not fond of it. Before talking about my favourite skin, however, let's talk about some honourable mentions. The two I have picked specifically being Naughty Bear, because, I mean, come on, it's just kind of funny. It's just really funny to me. I don't even understand where Naughty Bear comes from. I believe he's an old Behaviour game, and this is one big reference, but I think he's really charming, kind of funny. I like the narrator, even if he's very loud, and of course, I'd be ruining this video entirely if I didn't talk about the fact that, he also has a different Mori, which is a way better version than his original one, which I'll show on screen, both of them back to back as I'm talking about it. I would also love to give a special little shout out to the Miner skin, where he's dressed as a coal miner, which is very clearly a reference to My Bloody Valentine, a horror film that just so happened to also contain a dude with a miner mask and stuff. It's a pretty decent film, though I've never watched it. I've only ever watched the kill count on it, because, no offense, I'm a bit of a wuss. Moving on to my favourite skin, however, it is by far the Seaside Psycho. This skin, by the way, you're going to notice this. If a skin has a aquatic theming to it or a swamp theming to it, I am very likely to prefer it over most other skins. But this one, Seaside Psycho, incredible. Genuinely fantastic. I love that his mask is still a human skull. It's quite bony, but it also has coral growing off of it, and the bone is transformed and weirdly shapened. It's got a hook through the eye as well, and the mouth, and the seaweed dripping off of it. Awesome. Just the mask alone is amazing. But then you get to the body where he's got a boat. It's not propeller, is it? Boat. You know what I'm trying to say. The propeller looking thingy. That lodged in his shoulder. You can see that it's marked up his stomach and back, and it's just, whoa. This is awesome. The lower half having those deep sea diving outfits with the big circle helmets, the boots looking like the boot from SpongeBob. That's what I'm thinking of. And all the seaweed and the algae and the moss. This looks so cool. The weapon as well being a weird, I don't even know. It's like a boat blade. I don't even know what the weapon's meant to be, actually. I just realized that now. I think it looks fantastic though. This is genuinely one of the best skins in the game, in my humble opinion, and I cannot believe, in the lead up to the 9th anniversary, they gave this out for free? I look like Robbie Wright for free?
What do I owe you? Nothing. It's for free. Free?
Like, goddamn. Genuinely fantastic skin. Easily his best, in my humble opinion. And I almost forgot, that skin, the Seaside Toko, it even gets its own unique lobby music, which I'll play a bit for you now. But with the cosmetics and the such all over, I just want to give some personal thoughts on the Trapper as a character. Of course, as I complained about earlier, although he is the face of the game, and has been the face of the game multiple times, even when they swapped the cover art for the game, I do genuinely think he is not a good starting killer. He has a very simple... He's one of them killers where it's easy to learn, very hard to master. Like, the difference between a bad Trapper and a good Trapper is astronomical. Sure, you've been seeing it in the background with my gameplay. You can see the difference in how my first game went and how my second game went. And as I said again earlier, I do think that the Wraith is a way better starting killer, because not only is he simple to understand, but he's also quite easy to play. I feel like Trapper being so awkward and clunky, with him having to pick up his power and place it, well, the whole point of him placing it around the map I don't mind, but the fact that he doesn't either have the traps automatically all be open at the start of a match, or have all of them at once, I think hinders him greatly. And I also think him stepping in his own traps also kind of sucks, but I get why it's there. It's to teach players to not kind of be forgetful. I still think it's stupid. Like, a killer can be punished for using his power. Like, not even wrong. Not like he's not using it wrong. He's just using it, and he gets punished for it. But then again, could not be me. I guess it teaches players to watch where they're walking. I'm trying to think of a reason why he gets hurt by stepping in his own bear traps. I mean, yeah, it never really made much sense to me. And annoyingly, as I know this is coming soon, we're meant to be getting a Frank Stone skin for the Trapper. I'm just going to vent about that really quick. They're so stupid. I watched my friend play casting a Frank Stone, and it's a okay game, but I think the highlight of that game was Frank Stone in the final act of it, and the fact that that design and that like really cool look is going to just be a skin for the Trapper, I think is a huge missed opportunity. But that's me going off on a side tangent. Yeah, Trapper, he's okay, and I do think he's been forgotten somewhat by not behavior, but just people in general. Despite him being the face of the game, I do think he's lacking so much quality of life that every other killer seems to have. He just feels behind. He feels like a character that was made for a different game entirely, and admittedly he basically was. He was made for 2016, 2017 Dead by Daylight, and what's the year again? Oh yeah, 2025 as of the recording of this video. So he needs quality of life, and I hope that he eventually gets it. Like, I'm a big fan of Singularity. When we get to him eventually down the road, I'm going to be gushing about how much I love him. But for the longest time, I could not play him to save the life of me, because he just felt so clunky. But then they released that patch, I don't remember when, I think it was last year, where they gave him all of this quality of life, and he was just mind-blowingly more fun. Like, he was just fantastic. And I think Trapper needs that. He needs this big quality of life thing, and I don't know how they'll do it. I want them to do it though. Whatever they think of, I want them to do it, as long as it isn't bad or detriments him. But with all of that said, I believe this video is coming to a close, because I don't have much more to say about the Trapper, because he's a relatively simple fella, and you can only say so much about the guy. I'll keep the footage in the background continuing to go on, because I'm sure all of you watching are very invested in my gameplay, my amazing gameplay, I'm sure. But with that said, I hope you have a good evening, good day, good afternoon, wherever, and the next video will be about Wraith, or Bing Bong Boy as some people have said. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you look forward to the next one, which I'm hoping to have out tomorrow. So yeah, again, have a good evening, good afternoon, good night. That's the same thing. And I'll see you in the next one.
Go!